Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Smackdown review with me, Mr. Parkin, on behalf of the British Fist. In this video, I'm going to be talking briefly about Smackdown, I'm going to be talking briefly about Raw, but you can damn right guess I'm going to be talking about the segment that happened between Daniel Bryan and Triple H and the whole Occupy Raw segment in the main event of this review. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, go to somewhere near the end, as that is where it'll be. If you have any comments on this show, please put them down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out my NXT review I did last night as well. If you're a new person to NXT, this is a damn good time to start watching NXT as it is on the WWE Network. I love it when we open SmackDown with these Triple H promos, with him being his usual belittling self in the sense that he is a power-hungry COO who doesn't want to give the fans what they want. All the stuff he was talking about in this segment, I was just entertained by. It just had me laughing and lolling. Just talking about the fans having their little moment in the sun on Raw with the whole Occupy Raw thing. Daniel Bryan won't be here tonight, and it's the fans' fault. He will end the Yes movement at WrestleMania, and how Daniel Bryan is not good enough to succeed, and he was protecting him. Yes, that's right. Only Triple H can think of these completely logical reasons, can't they? One of the things I liked about this opening, though, is it addressed many things. I mean, you had Triple H addressing Daniel Bryan and the whole Occupy Raw thing. You had him bringing out Damien Sandow to ask why he didn't do his job on Monday night, even though he blatantly, obviously, couldn't do his job because there are 100+ fans in the middle of the ring. And he pretty much said to Damien Sandow that his match was going to be up next, which ended up being against Seth Rollins, which ended up with a Rollins win and a Shield beatdown, which pretty much solidified the fact that the Shield are back together as a group now, even though I still think they're going to tease tension between them and probably going to do a breakup somewhere down the line. This segment at least accomplished many things, and one of them was the fact that the Shield are a team again. Also, the fact that we got Damien Sandow spotlighted a little bit. And hell, when was the last time we could say that about Damien Sandow? Probably when he was losing to John Cena with one arm after winning the Money in the Bank contract. I do wonder if we can be seeing the beginning of the build for the Tag Team Championship match on WrestleMania, whether that will be on the pre-show or whether that will be on the actual show itself. We have the Real Americans versus Cody Rhodes and Goldust. We haven't really seen too much of Cody Rhodes and Goldust lately. Ever since they won the tag belts, they've kind of gone off TV a little bit. So it's good to me, after falling off the wagon a little bit, that Cody Rhodes and Goldust are getting some good TV time. On Raw, they had a very competitive match against the Shield and ended up losing. Here they ended up beating the Real Americans after some miscommunication between Cesaro and Jack Swagger. Thank God Jack Swagger ate the pin, and they're still teasing tension between Cesaro and Jack Swagger, which hopefully will lead to them two splitting up at some point down the line, maybe at WrestleMania in that Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy thing, and maybe that is where they have Cesaro go babyface. It is exactly that time, really, in my opinion. It's very necessary now for Cesaro to go babyface at some point. You even had the Real Americans attacking Cody Rhodes and Goldust after the match, and the Usos came out for the save. That's when I was kind of thinking, maybe they're just setting up to a Raw match between the Real Americans and the Usos. Maybe they're setting up some kind of WrestleMania Tag Team Championship multi-man match with maybe the New Age Outlaws in there. Who really knows? It wouldn't be a bad little Tag Team Championship match to actually have on the WrestleMania show, even if it is going to be on the pre-show. So on Raw, we had the immortal Hulk Hogan return in the opening segment to announce a great idea, which even flummoxed him. That's right, he even flummoxed Hulk Hogan when he thought of the idea, or maybe even when the writers gave him the idea at the time, probably via a text message or a phone call, I don't know. But he announced the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is going to be for a massive trophy. Now, I think this is a very good idea, and I think it's simply because of the fact that, if nothing more, it will get 30 guys from the roster on the pay-per-view, and it will give a big moment to one guy in the WWE. Now, I'm hoping this will be a new and upcoming guy, as I'll go through in a couple of minutes, but this idea of having 30 people on the card and, involving Andre the Giant there and everything, what a better way to say WrestleMania Thursday than having, a battle royal based on a legend in the business and having 30 people vying to actually, win this trophy. They're even having segments where they're announcing, people, going into the match itself. I mean, Big E Langston, I believe, announced himself on Raw this week, and he quickly dispatched a Fandango here. And I wonder if him being the IC champion, whether he will be a big favorite going into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, or whether they'll have Big Show win it. I don't really know. We also had Dolph Ziggler and Del Rio have another match, which I didn't watch, but Ziggler announced he'll be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I imagine he will probably go a decent length in this Battle Royal. So, you know, we've got 2 people there who have been announced. I know they've announced a couple of people on the website as well. I believe Ryback is announced in there. I believe Curtis Axel is announced in there. Let's hope we get all the members announced before the go-home show. And there are some new up-and-comers in there, maybe even including Alex Riley in there, or some newer, maybe NXT guys in there. That would be a good, you know, good match for those guys to get involved in. But this whole Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy idea, generally, I don't like the idea of fighting for trophies and money and stuff like that, as, you know, you saw in some of my ROH reviews. But for a special occasion like WrestleMania 30, I think this is definitely a good idea. And it wasn't just because Hulk Hogan announced it, either. So on this week's edition of SmackDown, Bray Wyatt defeated Kofi Kingston, you know, to make him look strong going into his match with John Cena at WrestleMania. But I really want to focus a lot more on the interaction between Bray Wyatt and John Cena and the inclusion of Hulk Hogan on Monday Night Raw. So I really like the way this feud has been set up. You know, Bray Wyatt saying that John Cena is a false idol and is giving false hope to the fans, etc. I mean, that's a damn good way of going around it, especially seeing as John Cena has pretty much said that anyone new who wants to, you know, be the face of this company or be the best in this company has got to go through him first, which I also believe is logical. So I like the setup to this feud. And the interaction between Bray Wyatt and John Cena has generally been pretty damn good. I really would hope that John Cena wouldn't make loads of child jokes to kind of nullify what Bray Wyatt is saying. But hey, that is who John Cena is pretty much appealing to. He's pretty much appealing to kids. But was I the only one in the opening segment of Raw when I saw Hogan and Cena in the ring together and the Wyatts on the outside? Was I the only one thinking that we could have a damn good 3 out of 3 2 tag team match at WrestleMania 30 here? John Cena and Hulk Hogan versus the Wyatt family. Yeah, maybe I prefer to have John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in a singles match, but just the opportunity to see John Cena tag with Hulk Hogan and maybe have Hulk Hogan, you know, Hulk up one more time at a big WrestleMania, even though he is a guest host and probably shouldn't be wrestling, that would be damn awesome. You know, I doubt it'll happen, but it would just be one of those, you know, pretty cool moments to happen at WrestleMania 30. Really, the focus should be on John Cena and Bray Wyatt here, and maybe Hogan at ringside or something. You know, I don't really know. But the inclusion of Hogan here, you know, has definitely done a little bit for this feud. And, you know, this was in the opening segment, etc. So I'm liking how they're going around this John Cena and Bray Wyatt feud, even though I really wish John Cena would at times be a little bit more serious. But like I said, we know what, you know, demographic this guy is appealing to. Did Sheamus and Christian have another match on Raw this week? Man, talk about beating a dead fucking horse. If these guys have a match at WrestleMania, who the fuck would give a shit at this point? They faced so many damn times. So we all know how important to WrestleMania that the Undertaker's streak is, which is why that WWE let him pretty much rest the whole year so he can come back for WrestleMania. WrestleMania just wouldn't feel like WrestleMania without the streak on the line. And one thing that really does a good job with this whole streak thing is the fact that Paul Heyman this week sold this streak as it was a massive deal. Now, we already know that the streak is a massive deal. We know that the 21-0 streak is a big motherfucking deal going into WrestleMania. But Paul Heyman on Raw, even though nothing really happened in the segment, it was just Paul Heyman talking and Undertaker talking and saying rest in peace, etc. You know, Heyman did a fantastic job of really selling this streak as a once-in-a-lifetime thing, you know, showing how no other top wrestler could achieve anything near it. You know, The Rock never had this kind of streak. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, never got anywhere close to this streak. John Cena never really got close to this streak. And the more you sell this streak as an important thing, not only does the match feel a lot bigger, but it also gives it a bit more of an aura with, you know, ending this streak is a damn big motherfucking deal. And a guy like Brock Lesnar can probably do something like that. If there was one person on the roster right now who could end the streak, it's a guy like Brock Lesnar, who is a damn legit UFC fighter. You know, even though he's lost a couple of matches in WWE, there is no taking away from Brock Lesnar that he is a legit UFC fighter, and you could legit see him beating Undertaker, who, let's face it right now, I believe is in his late 40s and is looking his age, let's face it. So some people may not like the idea of Lesnar facing Undertaker for the streak and, you know, the idea of, you know, Undertaker defeating Brock Lesnar. But the bottom line is WWE have got to get Brock Lesnar in as many big matches on as many big pay-per-views as possible before his contract runs out next year. And my guess going into this contract with Brock Lesnar doing these limited shows, one of the matches they probably would have thought about most was Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. And at WrestleMania 30, what better time to do that? You know, the show this week really did revolve around the Shield, didn't it? They were involved in multiple segments, backstage segments. Then you had the main event, which was Kane versus Big Show, which kind of came around after Big Show knocked Kane out to let Daniel Bryan get the win. And I believe they were involved in a tag match on Raw this week. And, you know, I didn't really watch this match. I've seen way too many Kane versus Big Show matches, and, you know, I just really can't ever get into them, so I didn't really watch this match. This match was really more about the three guys on the outside of the ring, and that was the Shield. It seems like the Shield are now anti-authority and are all about themselves, and they don't take orders from Kane. It would probably be a little bit different if it was Triple H in this match, or maybe Stephanie McMahon doing her growly devil voice, you know, but they're not taking orders from Kane now. You know, this is, once again, trying to solidify the Shield as a three-man team, and they're, you know, pretty much going to be doing things their own way. So this week's SmackDown, you know, it was pretty much revolved around the Shield. And, you know, after exactly what happened, you know, with Seth Rollins walking out, now they're back as a team again. So that solidifies that. But in my opinion, that wasn't the main event of SmackDown. I think the thing that happened on Raw that everyone remembers will have to be the main event of this SmackDown show. It just has to. So a lot of people have been talking about and pretty much jizzing over this whole Occupy Raw thing. And I must admit, after watching it back, because I didn't watch Raw live, it was a damn good segment. It was one of those segments, in my opinion, that really just stood out. And it was one of those segments that, in my opinion, has done more for Daniel Bryan than any match. You know, what this segment has done is it's put Daniel Bryan in a very memorable segment. I mean, how could you forget this damn segment? WWE pretty much took the whole hijack Raw thing and made it their own, which is pretty much Vince's genius, you know, taking other people's ideas and making it better and making it his own. You know, what a genius move by WWE this is. And like I said, this segment has done more for Daniel Bryan than any match, you know, than any promo segment previously, you know, than any wrestling move, than any feud, in my opinion, simply by giving him a memorable moment. And people will remember this. You know, so I imagine now a lot of fans are very happy about what happened in this segment, and I totally understand this. You've been waiting for this to happen for ages. You know, this is kind of like the whole point of this storyline, to get you wanting it and wanting it and wanting it, and just when you're about to give up on it, the WWE give it to you. We get the announcement that Daniel Bryan will be getting his match against Triple H at WrestleMania, and if he beats Triple H, he'll be involved in the triple threat match, you know, he'll be involved in the main event for the WWE World Championship, which will be a triple threat match if he beats Triple H. And, you know, make no doubt about it, this is definitely an audible, in my opinion. I don't think WWE's idea going into WrestleMania was going to include Daniel Bryan in the main event. It really never really looked like that until now, in my opinion. But it's a damn good audible, in my opinion. You know, after turning Batista heel, they were forced to by the fans quite early. They couldn't really have two heels in the match. You know, that is assuming Daniel Bryan does beat Triple H. You know, they really needed to put a babyface in the main event segment. And what a better way to put Daniel Bryan in there by having him first beat Triple H to actually get there and do double duty at WrestleMania. What a way to make a guy stand out on a card. It's just like what they did with Bret Hart. They have him do double duty to show this guy has the stamina of a fucking horse and he can go for hours. And I'm not talking in a sexual way. But I must warn you guys out there, just because you've gotten what you want, please don't get your hopes that Daniel Bryan is going to walk out of WrestleMania in the main event as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Please, please, you've got what you wanted now. Just because Daniel Bryan doesn't win, because he may not win, they might have Batista walk out there, the champion. If Daniel Bryan doesn't walk out as the champion, please don't pin your grades of WrestleMania on, you know, just the expectation of this happening. Because as much as I would love to see Daniel Bryan end WrestleMania, with his head held high and everything, with the championship after overcoming all the odds and everything, that would be a fantastic story in my opinion. But we know what the WWE are like. They love to give you something and then take it away at the very last minute. So don't pin your hopes here on Daniel Bryan winning, even though it seems like the most obvious thing ever, really. Why else would they have done this stipulation? They may have Batista walk out with the championship and then enter Batista and Daniel Bryan in a program for that championship going into SummerSlam or something. I'm just saying. So just take it for what it's worth. Let's not just assume Daniel Bryan is going to win, even though it does look that way and would be a pretty awesome moment. I can only imagine the reaction that the Lexman had when he saw this, when he saw this segment and saw exactly what could be happening at WrestleMania. I imagine it was probably a lot better than the reaction he did in his video, in the sense that I reckon he was probably jumping around the room, probably hitting his head on the damn ceiling. He was so damn excited. So for Daniel Bryan fans such as the Lexman, you got your moment. That is a good thing. Keep that moment in your memory banks, please. So coming out of this week's Raw and SmackDown, I think WWE have done a very good job of maybe getting some of those fans that were kind of about WrestleMania 30, maybe I won't buy it, and gotten them to the point where they'll definitely be buying this show. And I think that is mainly due to the whole Occupy Raw thing and Daniel Bryan potentially being in the main event. But WWE this week have done a damn good job in actually getting me vamped up for WrestleMania, mainly because of what they've done with Daniel Bryan. What a great story that would be if Daniel Bryan overcomes the Authority, then overcomes Orton and Batista, who are A+ players and he is a B+ player, etc., to win the championship in the main event of WrestleMania. What a great story that would be. But we've got other feuds. Undertaker versus Lesnar is starting to feel big, in my opinion. You've also got this Andre the Giant Battle Royal thing, which hopefully, going through the current weeks, will start feeling big. Not to mention the fact that we've also had Cena versus Bray Wyatt. That feud kind of feels big. Hogan being on the TV show. Once again, it's just something different, being a guest host, etc. I'm curious to see what other matches WWE are going to put on there, maybe on the pre-show, and to, fill the gaps in between the bigger matches, etc. I do wonder what matches WWE are going to come up with. Maybe a tag team championship match. Maybe a match involving the Shield. These kind of matches. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with those kind of things going forward. So one of the better things about WrestleMania are WrestleMania where you have matches that can kind of be the glue of the card. Not just the big matches, but the smaller matches in between that kind of hold those big matches together and create an overall good show. WrestleMania is looking pretty good, in my opinion. I think this time last week, if you'd have asked me, I probably would have gone more of like I'm sort of excited for it, but now I think, as a lot of Daniel Bryan fans will probably feel as well, I am definitely a lot more excited for WrestleMania than I was this time last week. If you have any comments on this week's edition of SmackDown or any of the things I've talked about in this review, including the Occupy Raw main event, the segment they had on WWE Raw, please let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you have, I'll be here same time next week giving my thoughts on SmackDown, etc. Goodbye.